Welcome to the Daily Dharma, a gentle podcast where we read a philosophical story every week and reflect on how it relates to everyday life. Our focus is to use Buddhist philosophy to understand the complexity of modern life and find achievable and accessible pathways to peace. Hi everyone, welcome to the Daily Dharma. In this episode, we're going to be talking about the healing power of unexpected community. The story that we'll be reflecting on this theme is called A Day to Remember, and it comes from the book Zen Stories with Master Seiji by Daiki Shimada. Here is how the story goes. Master Seiji sat at his kitchen table, sipping tea on an ordinary day, surrounded by the soothing hum of nature around his peaceful home. This day marked yet another year of his life. It was his 74th birthday, which he usually didn't celebrate. And yet, his friends and his neighbors had not forgotten. As Seiji sipped his tea, lost in meditation, there was a faint knock at the door. It was uncommon because his visitors usually proclaimed themselves beforehand. Curious, he rose to respond. The door swung open to reveal a gathering of faces, young and old, each beaming with a shared secret joy. They poured into Seiji's modest home, their arms full of dishes, treats, and all manner of homemade delicacies. The surprise was evident on Seiji's face, a rare moment of utter astonishment that quickly gave way to a deep, heartfelt smile. Among the guests was a child, no older than 7, clutching a piece of paper. With a mix of nervousness and pride, the child approached Seiji and extended the paper, which had a colorful depiction of Seiji's home, the surrounding landscape, and, in the center, a figure that definitely depicted Seiji himself, radiating a beautiful warmth. The simplicity and sincerity of the gift moved Seiji deeply, bringing tears to his eyes. The day and evening unfolded with a warmth and joy that Seiji's home had never before witnessed. There was laughter, shared stories, and an abundance of food that turned the plain wooden table into a banquet. And through it all, Seiji moved among his friends, his heart full, offering words of thanks, sharing in the collective happiness. And as the night drew to a close, the chatter subsided, and Seiji stood to dress the room. His voice, though soft, carried a weight that stilled the air. Today, you've all reminded me of the beauty of community, of the unexpected joy that comes from simply being together. This is true richness, beyond what can be bought or forced. I am deeply grateful for this moment and for each of you, for the kindness that has filled this home. Thank you for bringing such a light into my life. His words resonated with the day's sentiments, a celebration not of one individual, but of the bonds that united them all. As the guests departed under a star-sprinkled sky, leaving Seiji in the quiet afterglow of the celebration, the house, now silent, seemed to echo with the warmth of the day, a gentle reminder of the love and kindness that had permeated it. I couldn't help but smile in reading the story because as a character that I would say we've come to really know and love in this story and in this book. It's just like Master Seiji not to expect anything on his birthday, to just be content sipping his tea after working so hard to help others. But that in itself is the deepest gift, the opportunity to help, to be there for people, to have that emotional and physical bandwidth to do so. That really is the deepest gift. And I myself feel that so much because of this podcast and also because of the volunteering I do. All of these things, I would say, any chance we have to give to others, even if it's as simple as just holding a door open or even just giving someone some directions, the tiniest things we can do for people just spark this moment of connection, gratitude, thankfulness. And in that moment, you feel so connected and so, I would say, grateful for that moment of connectedness to the person at hand and even the universe beyond that. So, a funny little story I wanted to share that really touched on the theme of unexpected community is I was kind of facing a very stressful exam today, and it went well. But before it, I had essentially gone to the bathroom, and on the door, there it said in these bold green letters, "You got this." And someone else had written, "Thank you," underneath that. And I'm sorry if anyone is a little squeamish in talking about bathrooms, but just seeing that message really warmed my heart. And it just reminded me that through these very halls, so many students had passed and written exams, and we're all rooting for each other. We're all cheering one another on. And even if they may not physically be there, their spirit is here. And I felt that so deeply from this tiny little scribble on a door. And I think that is really an example of how the tiniest things, the smallest gestures, the most minuscule moments between whether it's two strangers or two friends or two family members can spark this deep feeling of connectedness and gratitude and joy within our hearts. And I think another thing too that is so important about this story and about community is that we can't essentially expect it all the time. We have to respect that people have their needs and their lives. And in giving to others, we can't expect them to give in the same way that we give to them. We have to more or less remember that everyone gives in their own time, in their own way. And this is very important to develop a peaceful and gracious relationship with the community we have. I myself, I'm not going to lie, that's another theme for myself this week. I've struggled with this because I am the kind of person that likes to put community first always. And sometimes I get frustrated when other people don't do the same. But then I really have to remember that this is my blind spot. I can maybe do this, but not everyone can, and that is okay. Everyone has their own way of giving. Everyone has their own schedule and timing, and that's okay. And it still takes me some time, and I do have to remember to myself that it's okay that everyone's form of giving and generosity, their contribution to the community is different from mine, but that doesn't invalidate the value of what they do. And when we become better at accepting that everyone has their own way of giving, even the trees that we have in our neighborhood have their own way of giving. the animals, the air, the systems around us. Everything has its own way of giving. It becomes so much easier to really appreciate and love and see and feel the community that is always around us. Because I think that is a very important part of developing spiritually, is being able to open our eyes to those little moments, to those beautiful sparks of connectedness, recognition, closeness. This knowing that maybe you two are strangers on the subway, but in that moment, you have a shared understanding of what does it mean to be standing on this earth at the same time in the same place. And I think that's a beautiful thing. And staying open to it, understanding that giving is the greatest joy and receiving is a great joy as well, but everyone does it in their own way and time. I think this is the recipe, that something I'm still cultivating within myself as well, to having the unexpected joy of community be a light in our lives when we really need it. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. May you have a beautiful, safe, and joyful week ahead of you. And if you have any thoughts or questions you'd like to share, please email me anytime at dailydharmapodcast@gmail.com. Until next week,